Hi everyone and welcome back to today's discussion, that is Let's Face It. I know you're used to seeing Obed sitting here and doing the discussions, but for today I'll be your host, Dan Nyanchama, and joining me in our today's discussion is Fine Hamatanga from Zambia. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. We are going to have a very brief discussion here on Let's Face It. We are going to talk about one of the most controversial journeys in the lives of a human being, that is being single. And we would like to know what your perspective is on being single. What is singleness as a myth?
All right. So to begin with, I'll say that singleness is not a punishment. It is a gift. It is time designed for growth, for preparation, as well as for self-discovery. But you will see that many of us have a problem with singleness because it's almost like we pause our lives as we wait for that moment when you say, I do. That's when you want to begin to live your life. So you kind of, wait, you pause, you postpone your joy. That will only be complete at a time when you have somebody to call a husband, somebody to call a wife, which is not God's intention for singleness. So that's a myth. So singleness is not a punishment. Nobody should escape singleness. They need to make a decision to be single. And they need to live fulfilled and complete lives as singles.
That is an interesting perspective, that you need to live a complete life as a single person. So as a single person, what are the stages of being single? What are the things that somebody should go through as a single person so that they can feel like they are complete?
All right. So one of the things that I look at in this life is that I have seen many of us as young people do focus on marriage. Everyone wants to get married, and they want to get married to the right person, and so on. But I want to say that your marriage is as good as your singleness. The quality of your marriage is highly dependent on your singleness. And so you want to make sure that you invest in your singleness. Don't invest in what colors you're going to wear on your wedding dress, on the wedding day, and who is going to dance, how are we going to live. Focus on investing in what quality of a person you are going to become before you begin to live with another person. So you see, the Bible tells us about the story of the children of Israel. They were moving from captivity to the land of promise. But there's one thing that God does along their way. He gives them to put on shoes that will last them the next 40 years, clothes that will last them the next 40 years. The temperatures are regulated by God. In other words, God brings the promised land on their journey to the promised land. You can imagine you have clothes that don't get dirty, clothes that you have a heaven. And so God's intention is to give you a heaven as you are going to heaven. You're having a heaven now. So a single person must begin to invest to make sure they have a heaven now. They bring out the best discovery of themselves, who they are, and they invest in themselves. Like the Bible says, behold, a man shall live and cleave, and they shall become one. So there are three words there. There's a living aspect, there's a cleaving aspect, and then there's a oneness. So all those stages are very important. So in the living aspect, before you think of marrying somebody else, probably you want to think of living first. Leave your parents, leave the dependence relationship, become independent, discover you, know you, love you, balance your emotions. When you are ready and you are full, you are now looking for where to give the overflow, and that's where you come to cleave. Now in cleaving, you are moving from independence to interdependence. This is where you want to share the best of yourself with another person. You don't want to get from them. Contrary to what we do as young people, you are saying, okay, I'm looking for a life partner. Will he be able to do this? Is she going to be able to do this? But in complete singleness, where you become a complete whole, you are now looking for, who am I going to pour myself into? How am I going to make that person's life better? What do I bring to the table? And I've heard most young people say, okay, I am the table. No, what do you bring to the table? Everybody else must contribute.
There's this very saying in Kenya here, right here. I don't know if you have it at your homeland.
Yeah.
Kenya, they say when you ask a woman or a man, what are the qualities of the man that you want to marry, or what are you looking for in your life partner, they'll give you a description of an imaginable things, of a person who will only exist in your imagination. And that brings me to the next, to my next question. Do you think like we as young people, we are making mistakes? Because if you look at the life recordings and if you look at the math, you will find that most people between who are born between 1997 to around 2000 there, 2000, 2005, you know, they are the age of getting married, but they don't want to marry. Unless it's for the sake of being lonely, you know, lonely, maybe you're lonely and you don't want to marry, you want to cohabit. Now, what do you think if a person out there, or maybe ourselves, we want to get married, what should we be focusing on?
Okay, so here is the thing. If you are looking for certain qualities in a person, it simply means you are in need and in lack yourself. If I'm looking for food, it's because I'm hungry. If I have food, I'm not looking for food. So when we are there looking for qualities in a life partner, probably it's because we want them to either, you know, satisfy us and take advantage of our lack. Now, the question should not be what qualities. The question should be myself, what do I bring to the table? So I'm looking for a project, and that project could be a person. And if I can see the project, I'm just looking at how much can I invest in this? Is this a worthy project to invest in? Why? I'm an investor. Why? I am complete, I am full. And here is a danger. Sometimes, if you think the only time you'll be happy is when you're married, it's possible that you can postpone your happiness forever. Because what if you never get married? Does it mean you'll never be happy? What if you get married? There's a story of somebody who got married and a month later the husband died. So imagine you've been waiting for this aha moment. And then you get to a point where somebody is married and you're like, okay, God has answered my prayers, and then the person dies tomorrow. So the Gen Zs and many others who are of marriageable age, I'll tell you why they can't get married. Number one, they are not complete. They've never invested in the singleness. They still want to allow people to define them. They are worried about blue ticks. They are worried about how they are dressing, how they are looking, whether they have the body shape and whatever it is. They are worried about things that if they had spent time in themselves, they could have accepted themselves. If I am dark, I'm not worried about who is light. If I am short, I'm not worried about who is tall. My confidence is in what I bring to the table. But most of the Gen Zs have skipped the stage of investing in themselves. Why? They were investing on social media, they were investing on phones and gadgets. They don't know themselves. They haven't invested in themselves. So by implication, they can't give. You can't give what you do not have. So the motivation then is sex and loneliness. And so that's how come cohabitation has become a thing, because they are not responsible enough to take care. Because marriage is for the mature. Marriage is when you get to a point of spiritual maturity, emotional maturity, financial maturity. And you will realize with me that maturity comes with sharing. When you are young, you cry for food, you cry for to draw attention to people. But when you are older, even when you are hungry, you will not shed tears. And when you are older, you now stop thinking about Diana. You are now thinking of, what am I going to do for my mom? What am I going to do for whatever? At some point, it was about, what will mom do for me? And this is why maturity then becomes important, because in marriage, it's about, what am I going to do for him? So when that becomes a problem, a new problem, like I'm looking for somebody I can develop and improve, then the new problem becomes better than somebody who is going to improve me. So look at our problems in the young people. A girl is looking for a guy who is going to make them better, a guy. But if you can't make yourself better, why do you think another person should make you better? So that's where even divorce cases comes in. We have a lot of expectations, and it is often said that expectation is a mother of all disappointment.
True, that is really true. But now we've talked about something very interesting, intelligence.
Yes.
Intelligence. Intelligence, according to common sense, or what should be common sense, is that as a person, as you add age, you're supposed to become more intelligent or more mature, emotionally, self-discipline wise, in many ways. But then we realize that as people continue to grow, as it's more like with this time, people are more like accumulating the years, but with a mentality of a minor or a child. Now, how do we close this gap between emotional intelligence and age-wise intelligence?
So here is what I would say. Number one, let's go back to default settings. We go back to the drawing board. We begin to look at prioritization. Which one comes first? Like God had to create Adam first before creating Eve. So there's a foundational priority of singleness. That Adam must first and foremost discover himself. He must first and foremost invest in himself. He must have his home. He must have an occupation. He must have his emotion. He must be able to take care of business. So we're going back to the drawing board, and the way we're doing this is about me investing in myself as a single person. Why? Marriage does not improve me. Marriage exposes me. If I have smelling feet, nobody will smell them until they bring me closer in marriage. So instead of me focusing on, the marriage, I should focus on treating my legs. So let's value the priority of singleness. Stop looking for a boyfriend. Stop looking for a girlfriend. Start looking for you. Date you, love you. When you are satisfied with you and you are complete. Remember the Bible says, and the two shall become one flesh. The Bible doesn't say, and the better halves. That's a Greek mythology, by the way. That, people are taught to say, you find your better half. There's no such a thing as a better half. How can the halves make a complete whole? It doesn't work. In mathematics it does, but in the Bible it says, behold the two. So the two confirms that these are one complete whole and another complete whole coming together, then they make one. So the biblical science proves that you are not necessarily, incomplete until you meet a man. You are complete, and then you continue being complete even when you meet a man. You preserve your individuality, and you continue being single. By being single, I mean being a complete whole. Even when you are married, you continue being that. Why? Because the soundness of your contribution is what you bring. So if I have not invested in myself, I am bringing an invested person into a relationship. If I haven't washed my hands, I'm bringing my dirty hands in a relationship. And so one wonders, why is it not working? It's never going to work by osmosis. It needs intentionality. If, for instance, we have players that have trained for a match, they're going to play better. Why? They have invested in themselves. And so it is the same thing. Have we invested in our singleness before we start looking at what is wrong with that one, what is wrong with another person, what is wrong with me?
Oh, that is really interesting. And when you talk about singleness and the Bible, you've said, and I think about person being whole before you join with another person. Now, as we are going to wind up, I would like us to talk about this aspect, common aspect of soulmates. You ask somebody, why are you single? I'm waiting for the right person. I'm waiting for my soulmate. Do you believe soulmates exist? Or do you believe, I want this question to run as our closing segment. Do you believe that a person should have soulmates? And what happens now according to the Bible and according to you as an individual?
All right. Thank you. That's a good question. There is no such a thing as soulmates. The Bible is just clear. Behold, a man shall leave his father, and it could mean any man. Imagine if there was something called soulmate, then it kills the beautiful gift given to us by God, the freedom of choice. Because if I have a soulmate, it simply means somebody else decided for me. So I need to look for what that person decided. And then the person is so unfair, because if they decided for me, why did they bring that person to me? They have to wait for me to go and look for them the whole world. So imagine my soulmate is in China, and I'm here in Kenya, I'm here in Zambia. So I am stuck, I don't even have transport. Okay, what if my soulmate died? And I'm busy bothering other people's children, who are not my soulmate. Then that is even being cruel for the person who made me to have a soulmate. So there is no such a thing as a soulmate. You can marry out of 1,000 men, out of 1,000 women, and I can tell you what, it can work. There are a lot of people who can live with you apart from an individual. This is why when your husband dies or your wife dies, you can remarry and the marriage can work again. Okay, so it is seen in the Bible. Abraham lost a wife, he remarried, and he lived happy. So the idea of soulmates and whatever it is, it doesn't work. The problem that we are facing is a lot of selfishness. It's me, and myself we want to get. But the principle of love goes beyond the feelings and the emotions. It goes beyond the looks. It's about, you giving. The principle of God is give. For God so loved the world that he gave. But the devil is get. That's where the selfishness comes in.
Wow, that is an interesting fact, because, so guys, you hear the story about Cupid and his arrows is a lie. It's a myth. And on closing, Pastor, on your other world, you are a pastor. You are also a car enthusiast, and we'd like to hear your views as a pastor. Now, to us young Christians out there who are in the line of getting married, what should we do? What are their guidelines of what a person should go through so that they can come up with who they are or what they want?
All right, so I'm going to share with you just in a nutshell 5 things that a person should do. Number 1, they need to ask themselves the most difficult questions called the existential questions. Like, who am I? They need to discover themselves. And if you don't discover yourself, probably you are looking for a wrong person elsewhere. You must find you, and when you discover you, then you will know who you're going to find with. And just right on there, when you know yourself, you know where you're coming from. That's number 2. Where do I come from? Number 3, why am I here? Number 4, you're asking the question, what can I do? And number 5, where am I going? So these 5 questions are very important to discover yourself. So for instance, when you know why you're there, you are choosing your life. The purpose is your life. Then when you choose a life, then you can look for a life partner. But the problem is, somebody is looking for a life partner and they have no life. So how do you find a life partner when you yourself have no life? Okay, so your purpose in life determines the kind of a person who's going to partner with you in the journey of searching. So how do you discover yourself? Ask God. He's your creator. He's the one who created you. We don't know ourselves. We don't even know how to pray. So sometimes even when we pray for right partners, there are people we think are right partners. They are not even right because we don't know us. Okay, so when God defines you and he gives you purpose, then the same God, ask him to guide you. He will guide you. But by all means, I'm saying, find a purpose. Live. Don't pause. Live your life. Be fulfilled. Be complete. Adam was comfortable. He was all right. He actually never knew he was alone until God himself was the one who says, that guy, it's not good for him to be alone. It wasn't Adam praying. And unfortunately today we have everybody else thinking that they are not okay because it's not good for the man to be alone. No, it shouldn't be me, the single one, to say it's not good for the man to be alone. When people see how comfortable I am, I'm driving, I'm living large, I'm living big, people should say, no, it's not good for that guy to be alone. He's comfortable. Why is he alone? So it is singleness by choice. 3 levels of singleness: singleness and waiting to marry, singleness by choice, and singleness by circumstances. You are a widow and whatever it is. Whatever the level of your singleness, you want to make sure that you are comfortable. The word that says it's not good for the man to be alone was for Adam. It wasn't for us. And there's a difference between loneliness and being alone. Alone and loneliness, they're different. Loneliness is a psychological condition. Alone is where you are complete, you're happy, but you're just alone. So don't get married because you are lonely or because you have sexual emotions. Get married when you are complete. I'll give you a perfect example. There are people who think when you get married, then you fix the problem with sex. If you're promiscuous, marriage doesn't solve your problem. It actually may increase it because you continue like that. We know people who are married and they're sleeping around. The discipline while you are single determines the discipline you will have when you get married. And this is why, again, it's important to make sure that you have a quality single life, complete whole single life, because it is what you bring into the marriage.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Being single is a lot more than what we know. You can be single and have fun.
Yeah.
And I have not had you comment about the issue of money, because it has a lot to do with being single and being fun. So you can be single and have fun and have your own money. And even for us ladies,
actually, you need to have a lot of money.
yes. What I'm getting is that even for us ladies, we need to have money. We also need to spoil our men. It's just not about the men spoiling us. Hello ladies, hi cousins, I hope you're listening to me. And we wish we would have talked more about this discussion. We would have had more and more. We will definitely be back with this topic next time, maybe with Obed, next time maybe with me. Leave us your comments. Remember, subscribe, press that notification button so that you don't miss anything. I've been your host, Daniel Chama, with our guest today. He will introduce himself.
Fine is my name.
Yes.
And I'm fine.
See you.